Power Rangers Beast Morphers is the first season to be produced by Hasbro, and I'm happy to say it was incredible. One of the series' best premieres, in fact. In just one episode, the directors and writers demonstrate a level of pacing, dialogue, and performance that I haven't seen since Power Rangers RPM. From the trailers and previews, I really wasn't sure what to expect. I kind of worried it wasn't going to be any different than what we've already seen from the Neo Saban era, and it was going to be a little bit cheesy, but it was absolutely refreshing and fun to watch. The episode begins with a foreboding news report. The mayor of Coral Harbor has constructed towers throughout the city that will tap into the morphing grid to produce a new clean energy called MorphX.
Is this a stroke of genius that will save the planet from pollution? Or is it, in fact, a dangerous mistake?
Should we have tapped into the bottomless well of unfathomable energy that powers Ranger teams throughout the universe? Or will we all die? Find out at 11. We then see a karate lesson at the Riptide Gym, which is definitely inspired by the Angel Grove Youth Center from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season. The decor is very similar, in fact, and there's even a juice bar. We're introduced to the instructor, Blaze, who catches our new Red Ranger, Devin, just kind of doing his own thing.
The only way you're gonna learn karate is by following what I do and practicing. Totally agree. Just waiting on you to teach moves that are a little bit more challenging.
Not amused by this, Blaze actually attacks Devin, nearly taking his head off. Blaze's friend, Ravi, the series' new Blue Ranger, tries to stop him, but Blaze is having none of it. He continues attacking while Devin just tries defending himself, even getting injured in the process. Devin finally gets the upper hand and ends the fight when his dad, Mayor Daniel, shows up.
You are leaving. Now.
Thanks for the lesson, Blaze. This isn't over.
Good lord, this guy is a psychopath. He looks like he's ready to murder Devin, and all he did was get snarky. Chill, bro. Afterwards, Mayor Daniel scolds his son about skipping his job interview to do karate and play video games.
Well, I don't know anything about cleaning carpets.
But you're an expert at video games and karate. Son, those aren't gonna take you anywhere. You have so much potential, Devin.
His dad just got done telling him that he's upset about him skipping a job interview to play video games, and Devin just whips out his phone and starts playing games. This is just great. So Mayor Daniel says he's stopping by Grid Battle Force headquarters, and Devin lights up, asking if he can come along to check out their battle simulator, which is supposed to be unbeatable. But when Dad says no, Devin cleverly snaps a picture of his ID badge and goes into the building anyway, which is actually really cool. Just inside the lobby at the security desk, we're introduced to the series' Bulk and Skull variants, Betty and Ben Burke, who are wonderfully funny, unlike previous season attempts. I especially like the humorous reveal that Betty is really short. It was well edited. The bit with the body scanner flashes was also really funny. While Mayor Daniels is being assaulted by Betty and Ben's buffoonery, Devin is able to sneak inside using the snapshot he took of his dad's ID badge without getting body scanned. We're then introduced to this season's Yellow Ranger, Zoe Reeves. She escorts the mayor through the facility while sharing her enthusiasm for the work they're doing with MorphX, and talks up her ideas for how the Discovery can be utilized. The way she talks about her ideas, it sounds as if she might be the inventor of the season who comes up with the new gadgets and weaponry for the team. But just when we start thinking that Zoe is part of the development team or serves some other important function within Grid Battle Force, we find out she just works in laundry after getting cut from being a Battle Force cadet. It was actually a pretty clever and fun reveal. I liked it. We're then introduced to Commander Shaw, who shows the mayor a green container of extracted MorphX energy, and Nate Silva, the chief scientist and child prodigy who discovered how to tap into the morphing grid at age 10.
Which, if my calculations are correct, means we'll have unlimited access to the most powerful energy source in the known universe.
You know, the last time a child super genius tapped into the morphing grid, it didn't go so well for humanity, like at all. And apparently the mayor agrees with me because he thinks what Grid Battle Force is doing is a mistake.
Before you were born, every monster out there in every dimension, from Rita Repulsa to Sledge and Galvanax, they've all wanted to take the Rangers' power and rule the universe. And now that you've wrapped it up with a ribbon, some evil mind will try to take it again. And when they come, this place, Grid Battle Force, won't be able to stop them.
So I have to give credit here to Kevin Copeland, the actor who plays Mayor Daniels. His performance is intense, and he effortlessly conveys the gravity of the situation. I also really appreciate the music score choice as it elevates the intensity dramatically. These moments were sorely needed in previous seasons, and I'm so happy we have them back with Beast Morphers. Commander Shaw leads Mayor Daniels away to show him another project to alleviate his concerns, and then we see Devin again, who is dressed up as a lab technician. He's seemingly caught by security though, and then the theme song finally kicks in 7 minutes into the episode. I like the theme song, it definitely fits the theme of the season. I especially like the modulated voices. It feels a little shorter than other seasons, but that could just be because there's not much of a melody to the song, and there's really only one verse. I'm interested to find out how this will translate into a musical score. Devin is escorted to the morphing lab where we see the 3 Ranger cadets lying on tables with their faces hidden. Commander Shaw, Mayor Daniels, and Nate walk in soon after to explain how they're going to create the new Power Rangers.
When you activate the Morphex Tower Network for the first time, the Morphex will flow from here to here, where it will combine with animal DNA. Then it'll flow into our 3 subjects, mutating their DNA.
Mutating them into what?
So they're going to use the Morph X energy to mutate the Ranger's DNA. This really made me wonder if something was going to go wrong with the process to create actual mutants, like the ones we saw in Time Force. Just the idea that Grid Battle Force's actions are what give rise to Rancic and the mutants would have built some amazing continuity between the seasons. It would have also meant that potentially the first Rangers would have been mutated into monsters, which is kind of dark, but not darker than what we saw in RPM. Nate then shows off the cool new gadgets they developed using the technology.
Beast X blasters, Beast X sabers, Beast X morphers, and Morph X key.
On sale now at your local Toys R Us. Oh, well wait. But then Devin notices a strange purple energy flow through the Morph X. Never a good sign. Mayor Daniels tries to meet the new Ranger team, but Commander Shaw insists that their identities must remain a secret, except for the fact that the entire facility knows their identity. With all the security breaches and leaks in today's world, I'm sure their identities aren't going to stay secret for long. We find out the 3 cadets are Blaze, the Red Ranger, Roxy, the Yellow Ranger, and Ravi, the Blue Ranger. Devin is kind of shocked by this, which is understandable since Blaze is an unhinged crazy person who would probably microwave a puppy. But Devin is startled when that same purple energy from before turns into a cobra and strikes the glass. He tries to tell everyone about the snake, but he's dragged away by security to a holding cell. We then see Ravi and Roxy in the locker room getting ready to become Power Rangers for the very first time.
Morphex is about to combine my DNA with the DNA of a gorilla. Yeah, and hopefully make me into a superhero.
Man, it just really feels like the writers are foreshadowing a catastrophe where these Rangers are mutated into monsters. It's not quite what happens, but just imagine what if. But then, in an incredibly heartfelt and emotional moment, we find out that Ravi and Roxy used to date each other, but since they were selected to become Power Rangers, Ravi ended the relationship since it was against policy.
Roxy, we talked about this. We can't be together, not anymore. We both knew the rules when we were chosen. Rangers can't date Rangers.
But you said that rule was silly.
It is, but it's still a rule. Please don't make this any tougher than it already is.
Yeah. Okay.
This was just so well performed and directed. Props to the actors here. And the music also perfectly added to the scene. It was so great to hear an original score that elevates the emotion instead of just some bland stock music. There's a genuine level of sincerity here that Power Rangers used to have in older seasons like Time Force or SPD that we haven't had since RPM. Despite being a kid show, Power Rangers has had a lot of sad, even tragic moments where you forget that it's a show about multicolored heroes fighting rubber suit monsters, and you take it a little more seriously. It's one of the reasons, in fact, I started watching Power Rangers again after falling out of it as a kid.
Today we tap into an endless source of clean energy. And once our city proves it's safe, the entire Earth will follow in our footsteps. Citizens of Coral Harbor, the future has arrived.
Ah yes, the famous speech before the disaster. And of course, just as the new Rangers are about to morph for the first time, disaster strikes. A computer virus named Evox is detected.
I am Evox.
Evox?
The morphin grid will be mine.
Is it just me, or does Nate look like he's familiar with Evox already? Commander Shaw announces an evacuation, but while everyone is running away from the danger, Zoe charges toward it, and we get a great but brief comedic moment with goofballs Biddy and Ben.
Hey! We solve problems too!
No, we don't! Oh, man!
Meanwhile, back in the morphing lab, Nate is unable to stop the morphing sequence, and Blaze is morphed into the evil Blaze Ranger, which is an avatar clone of the original candidate. Devin and Zoe arrive in time to see Blaze trashing security and share another very funny introduction.
Are you security?
Not exactly. I work in laundry. You?
No, just trespassing.
Seriously, that was one of my favorite moments of the episode. Roxy is then also turned into an evil avatar, but before Ravi can be turned as well, Devin picks up a blaster lying on the ground and shoots the tube feeding the virus into the DNA sequencer. This leads into a 4-minute fight scene that's just wonderfully choreographed. I loved seeing some of the more unique setups through the fight. We also get to see the Rangers morph for the first time. I like the morphing effect that they had with the whirlwind of energy just consuming them and changing them into the Power Rangers. It was also interesting that we got a first morph without a morphing sequence. So the Rangers start showing off their powers. Red Ranger has the DNA of a cheetah, so he can move really fast. Yellow Ranger has Jackrabbit DNA, so she can jump really high, and Blue Ranger has Gorilla DNA, so he's just really strong. The DNA powers are a lot like the Dino DNA powers from Power Rangers Dino Thunder, or the DNA powers from SPD. I like that each Ranger has a particular strength, and if the writers utilize them effectively, it'll make for really cool, entertaining fight scenes later on, unlike some other seasons which introduced DNA powers but never really used them. The Rangers managed to teleport the evil avatars into another dimension. Afterward, the comatose bodies of Roxy and Blaze are put into some kind of hyperbolic chamber. It's explained that they are in a sleep-like state, kind of like a coma. Ravi visits Roxy's pod and he remembers the moment when he broke it off with Roxy. It's another really well done emotional scene with noticeably good music arrangement. Ravi then goes to meet Devin and Zoe. He apologizes to Devin about the incident at the gym, and the 3 new Rangers reintroduce themselves. Nate comes in and explains that the only way to wake up Roxy and Blaze is to destroy their avatar. And we also find out that Ravi is Commander Shaw's son. While we've had a lot of Ranger daddy issues in the past, I don't think the series has ever explored a Ranger mom dynamic, and I hope they take full advantage of the dramatic potential that can have on the story. The episode ends with Commander Shaw sending Devin and Zoe to the battle simulator, which of course gets Devin hyped. And that was the first episode of Power Rangers Beast Morphers, Beasts Unleashed. And honestly, it was surprisingly good. Much better than the previous Power Rangers season, Ninja Steel. The new cast is entertaining, and the Rangers had some great performances. I especially liked the scene between Devin and his dad, as well as the scene between Ravi and Roxy. It's refreshing to see a genuine sincerity in the performances. The dialogue was contemporary and fun, and there were more than a couple laugh-out-loud moments. Another highlight for me was the original music score. Whether the scene was somber, comedic, or serious, the music really elevated it. Music is an important storytelling tool in movies and television, as it can enhance the emotional impact of any scene. It may seem like such a minor thing for a show like Power Rangers, but I definitely appreciate the effort from whoever scored the episode. So let's talk about Evox. From the early trailers and previews, I wasn't really impressed with him, and even in the episode, he was probably the lower point. However, there might be a little bit more to him. One of the things I noticed is there's some kind of avatar motif this season with the Rangers. You know, Yellow Ranger has a Jackrabbit avatar, Blue Ranger has a Gorilla avatar, and Red Ranger has a Cheetah avatar. And we've got this Evox virus, and it's got an avatar as well. It's a Cobra. And one of the other things that seemed peculiar about the Evox virus is, one, it's sentient. You know, how often do you run into a sentient virus? And 2, Evox seemed to know exactly where to go and what he was doing. He bypassed the firewalls and security of Grid Battle 4 systems, and he went straight for that morphing sequencer. And so I'm starting to believe that Nate definitely is the one who created Evox. We probably have a situation a lot like the one in RPM where Dr. K created the Vengeance virus in order to escape her captivity and ended up dooming the world for it. We might have a similar situation here where Nate, maybe when he was younger and first tapped into the morphing grid, possibly created the Evox virus. And it seemed to be that when Evox first came out and announced himself, the camera focused on Nate for a second there, kind of suggesting that Nate knew or was familiar with Evox. So it's going to be interesting to see if I'm right about that and where the show's going to take it. I'm excited to see the next episode and hope that the season continues to be just as entertaining as the first episode. I plan to do episode reviews for all of Beast Morphers, but each episode tends to take a lot of time, so I might not have the time to do it. I originally planned to do episode reviews for all of Ninja Steel as well, but that show was pretty painful to get through and I really couldn't do it. I just had so much to say for every episode that it was taking me a really long time to put those videos together, and the season just wasn't worth it for me. But with Beast Morphers, I'm very excited, and I'm ready to get back into a Power Rangers season that's actually good. So if you like the review, leave a comment down below and let me know. Thanks for watching.